Hi guys! As the finale of my Christmas videos this year, we're gonna do this miniature Santa sleigh. This is how I imagine Santa's sleigh looks, but you can customize it to look however you like. The first thing I worked on was the bottom skis. I went for a vintage swirly design, but you can make them simple if you want. I started by drawing a pattern so I knew the size I wanted my skis, but also so I could make two matching ones. I made my skis from wire since I wanted to solder it together. For this you need uncoated wire. The wire I used had a coating since it's jewelry wire, which actually caused me problems, but I'll get back to that. You'll need some pliers to cut and manipulate the wire, and if you're going to solder it, you're going to need some tin, some soldering water and a torch. You can also use a soldering iron, I just prefer not to. If you don't have soldering equipment or you just don't want to use heat, don't worry, you can also use a very strong glue to put it all together. You're also going to need some sort of heat-proof surface to work on. I just worked on the tiles that I knew can be baked in the oven, but I do not recommend this because it couldn't take the heat and it ended up cracking, so be sure you actually get a proper tile, like one that's meant to go in fireplaces and such, because those are meant for those type of heats. Firstly, prepare all the wire pieces by cutting and bending them to match your pattern. When you're ready to start soldering, make sure the two pieces are touching, apply some soldering water, a small piece of tin, and then heat it up with a torch. As I mentioned before, you need to make sure that your wire is not coated. Mine was, and it really gave me problems because the coating wouldn't allow the tin to set properly, so it didn't connect the pieces as it should. And in the end, if I applied too much heat, the coating just kind of started burning, so yeah, make sure you're using uncoated wire. After I'd soldered together the frame, I added the supporting pieces and then the decorative swirls. The process was the same, just bending and cutting the wire and soldering it in place. And again, if you don't want to solder, that's totally fine, just use a very strong glue to connect all the pieces and allow plenty of drying time before you start handling it again. Once I had two matching and slightly burnt skis, I coated them with a spray of a metal primer and then a coat of a silver spray. Now that those are done, we can move on to the actual sleigh. Start by cutting out a piece of cardboard in the size you want the bottom of the sleigh to be. If you want to make your sleigh in a bigger scale and have it more durable, you can make it all from wood, but since I'm working in 1:12 scale here, cardboard will be sturdy enough. Next, I drew out a little stencil to be the side silhouette of the sleigh, and I made sure it would match the bottom. Then I cut out two identical pieces from more cardstock and glued those to the sides. I just used some wood glue, but you can also use tacky glue or something similar. Next, you're going to cut dividing pieces that are going to separate the front seat from the back seat. I just measured the inside of the sleigh, cut out the pieces and glued them in place. And there we are, that's the basic shape of our sleigh. I made sure along the way that it would fit the silhouette of the skis, and so far it's looking pretty good. To decorate the sleigh, I used a few colors of acrylic paint and some gold alcohol ink. I went for red on the inside of the sleigh and black on the outside, but you can choose your own color scheme. Make sure you go over the edges of the cardstock a few times with a good amount of paint so it fills up the natural holes inside. After the whole sleigh was painted, I used the alcohol ink for some details. I'm often asked if you can use acrylic paint instead, and sure, of course you can. The only reason I used alcohol ink is because I like the color. Once that's all dry, apply a layer of ModPodge to the outside of the sleigh. Next we're gonna work on the seats. Cut pieces of cardboard to fit inside the sleigh to be the bases. You also need some fabric and some pillow fluff. I'm recycling the excess fluffy yarn from my recent wig tutorial. Place the fabric wrong side up, then the pillow fluff and the cardstock on top. Fold over the sides and glue them in place. Then I use needle and matching thread to sew some dents into the seat just for a little extra detail. Make pieces for both the front and back seat and glue them in place. Looking good! Now we're ready to attach the skis using a strong glue. I want to extend the front of the sleigh following the curve of the skis. For this I used a piece of thinner cardstock that was easily bendable, then glued this to the front of the sleigh in between the two skis. Once the glue has set, you can paint the piece. I went for red on the inside and a brownish wood color on the outside. Also seal it in with some ModPodge to make it more durable. And that's our sleigh done. I wanted there to be a sack of gifts in the back, so I took a piece of canvas fabric, folded it over and sewed along the sides. Next, fold over the top edge and sew it down to make it look neat. Then you're ready to turn it right side out, fill it with presents or something that looks like it, and tie it off with a piece of string. I also wrapped 2 small presents to lie beside it in the sleigh, and they are definitely not an old eraser and some cardboard. And then we're done. I found this miniature reindeer at an online dollhouse shop, but I'm sure you can find something similar in a toy store this time of year. I completed this little scene with the Christmas tree I made previously this month and a bit of fake snow. I hope you enjoyed this project. Hit the like button if you did. And yeah, I wish you all happy holidays and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!